yeah, it's Wrestling Uncensored. We're watching SmackDown. We're a week away from WrestleMania. It's time to talk about pro wrestling. Yes, indeed, we are here. Whoa, what just happened?
Oh, is that a blank space for Johnny North?
It's just like, hey, he's not here.
Yeah,
I think that's what happened.
but we miss him.
There we are. That's us.
Give him hell, big man.
Yeah, go, Johnny, go.
So, yeah, we're here Friday night.
I think he'll be back next week. Hopefully, he'll be back next week for WrestleMania. Pal.
41.
Yeah, we're at 41 of WrestleManias.
It's kind of crazy.
Cody Rhodes is in the ring right now cutting a promo with a bunch of old WWE Championship belts, talking about the history of the title and being honored to carry the WWE Championship now. And he's got the spinner belt, and he's talking about John Cena, who he will face next week at WrestleMania. Next week.
Yeah.
I got Cody winning that match. You?
I have John Cena winning.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. What? Huh.
Yeah.
How come?
Just, he's...
Cena? You think The Rock?
I think it progresses the storyline in an interesting direction.
Yeah?
Yeah. And, the power of the... Final Boss can't lose at every Mania. He lost kind of last year in Mania.
Yeah?
He should have some revenge. If you're really establishing The Rock as this, as a quote-unquote new Mr. McMahon.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Vince had some victories.
This is the first match for Cena, too, as, heel Cena.
Yeah, might see, a different moveset or some dirty tricks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can see it.
I don't see him carrying the belt, from this run till the end of the year or anything.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably going to be a focal point of, the summer touring.
I could see it. I just... I feel like Cody's going to hold on to it and Cena's going to move on to other things.
Oh, yeah. It's, definitely, a 50-50.
I feel more confident in Cody.
I don't picture either direction.
I don't feel like it's a 50-50, though.
Oh, no?
No, I was surprised that you're picking Cena. I feel like it's... I'm pretty convinced that Cody's going to win.
All right.
I don't see Cena holding on to the belt, winning the belt. I'd be surprised.
Do you see Steve Austin interfering in that match?
I'm more like 75-25 than 50-50. Steve Austin, yeah, I mean, if The Rock is there, I think Steve Austin would be involved. That would be fun.
Kind of wanted it last year.
Yeah, they did a whole thing with Undertaker and all those guys last year with The Rock and the title match with Roman and Cody. They'll probably do a repeat of that with a bunch of guys.
What if Steve Austin does come down to the ring?
And
kicks Cody in the gut.
Yeah.
Gives him a stunner.
Yeah.
A little bit of throwback to WrestleMania X7. When he kind of sided with the authority.
I mean, that would be pretty nuts.
Steve Austin knows, who butters the bread around here, son.
But what's the end game on that?
It's just that, all these guys represent the old guard.
And they hate Cody?
And just, with, the power of, the millions of fans and billions of dollars, I really wish they'd stress the Hollywood angle more,
But I don't think that that's the right message to send. All your favorite wrestlers from the past, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, they all think Cody sucks. And you guys are idiots for liking them. I think some of the fans are going to be like, well, maybe they're right,
Yeah, well, they'll still make money off all the T-shirts.
I think that would turn
they
Cody
sell the Cody
heel.
Sucks shirts.
I think the Final Boss and John Cena going against you is one thing, but if you add Stone Cold into the mix, I feel like that turns Cody heel.
Yeah, it's a bit of fantasy booking, but
it's too much.
It's too much. Out of the question. But anyways,
I don't think Austin would do it, brother. He's a babyface. But that match happening next week, next Sunday. We're already here, like a week away from WrestleMania. I think they added a couple matches tonight on SmackDown. Cody cutting what could be his maybe second to last promo. I think Cena's going to be on SmackDown next week. He's not on SmackDown again this week. So there's that. I don't know if Tiffany and Charlotte are going to do another promo against each other. That promo made a lot of news over the week. We talked about it last week. It got pretty intense. It was confirmed through multiple news sites, so-called news sites, that it did go off the rails, and they said some things they weren't supposed to say, which is an interesting thing to happen a couple weeks out of WrestleMania when they're supposed to wrestle each other. If they're going to say things they're not supposed to say, or they're going to do things they're not supposed to do. As we get a graphic on the screen that says next week we're going to get the Andre the Giant Battle Royal on SmackDown, WrestleMania SmackDown. And a 6-woman tag match featuring Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and Albert Fire against Zelina Vega, Katana Chance, and Kaden Carter. And the tag team titles as well being defended not at WrestleMania. The Street Profits against the Motor City Machine Guns on SmackDown next week. They are not going to be at Mania. I mean, SmackDown's in Vegas. It's the night before Mania. They're calling it WrestleMania SmackDown, but we all know it's just SmackDown. It's not in the stadium. It's not WrestleMania. And there are the Street Profits doing a promo looking real upset that they're still tag team champions and not at WrestleMania.
They kind of have a Solo Sikoa sort of gear with the chain and the turtlenecks.
They are dressed similar to Solo. What's that about? Everybody's got to wear a black turtleneck with a chain? They are dressed like Solo. They're stealing Solo's gimmick, brother.
If I were Solo, I'd come up to them and act all weird and be like, "Hey, what are you guys doing? Stealing my gimmick?" Weird ways.
Weird Solo? Yeah, weird Solo. Awkward Solo?
Awkward Solo.
Strange.
You guys.
Shout out to Angelo Contagonis in the chat, member of the team over at join.ringsidereport.net. Thank you for joining us here on a Friday night. I feel like everything's kind of set for WrestleMania. Everything's mostly official, mostly done. Io, Bianca, and Rhea official as a triple threat. What got made official tonight? We had, oh, God.
Yeah. The first hour.
Yeah, we had, SmackDown tonight has been bad, right? Like, they've done nothing.
I'd say so, yeah. It's been pretty mediocre.
What have they done? Cody just cut a promo saying, John Cena, da-da-da. It's like, all right, well, we've seen that already. What?
Solo and Randy cut a promo. That wasn't very good with Nick Aldis.
And they set up a tag match, which is going to be, I think, the main event of SmackDown, which is Randy and LA Knight against Solo and Tommy Tonga. Which is not great. Like, this SmackDown has been real weak, and they dedicated a chunk of the show to a women's tag team gauntlet match, which means multiple women's tag team matches where Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, who are the only team that had a shot in hell at winning this thing, because when you started this gauntlet match, you go, who are the other participants?
I thought Nia Jax might show up.
Yeah, Nia Jax has been missing in action for months. Who knows where she is? But, like, you go to the tag teams division, you go, well, who do they even have that could be in this gauntlet match? They have more than 2 other tag teams here on SmackDown, and they somehow found them. They had Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, who I haven't seen since the 3rd member of their group, Sonya Deville, got fired. Now they show up. They lose quickly to Bayley and Lyra. Like, Lyra's the Intercontinental Champion on Raw, and Bayley is Bayley. And then they're wrestling just a bunch of jabronis for like 20, 30 minutes in this gauntlet match to get a shot at Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez, their tag team titles at WrestleMania. That's a Mania match that got made official because, of course, Bayley and Lyra won. beating Shayna and Zoe. Then Maxine and Natalya.
Ooh, that was comical.
It was like they're a tag team. They came out of nowhere. Maxine tried to do the sharpshooter, and then Bayley just rolled her up, reversed it, and pinned her. And Natty was on the apron like, what the hell was that? That was terrible. They're just making fun of how bad Maxine is at wrestling.
Still.
That's the gimmick, and they're not really anywhere in WWE. And like, I wonder what they're even doing, because they don't do house shows anymore.
Yeah.
So if you're a Maxine and a Natty and you're still on the
reps?
roster, when do you ever wrestle?
Yeah. Main event? Is that still a thing?
Maybe.
For YouTube?
But like, they don't get to wrestle very much. And all of a sudden they're in this thing. And like, obviously Maxine is bad. I mean, Natty barely... did Natty even get in the ring?
Very, very little. And she looked a little rusty. Can't blame her.
She never wrestles.
Probably since like the Rumble.
They're letting her
That was
go
probably the
wrestle.
last time she wrestled.
They're letting her wrestle for all sorts of different promotions because they got nothing for her. So then they lose Maxine and Natty, who were a tag team for some reason. Then Katana Chance and Kaden Carter reemerge, and they lose, of course, to Lyra and Bayley. And then Bayley and Lyra beat B-Fab and Meechin, who are a tag team that just got put together out of nowhere, and that was not good. That was rough looking.
Yeah.
And then Piper and Albert Fire came out, who are Chelsea's people, the
Secret Hervis.
The Secret Hervis, because they're women. Right?
Yeah. And Chelsea too, so service, but yeah, Hervis.
Chelsea is also a woman?
It's a bit of a stretch.
It doesn't make sense.
It's a sweaty name.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Sweaty.
Yeah, just like, like a reach, it's like sweaty.
All right.
Just, just kind of try to fit that in there, it's just sweaty.
I don't like it. I don't like that term, and I don't like I don't like the tag team name. I don't like that term. I don't like any of it. None of that.
It's resounding no.
Yeah, it's a no for me. Sweaty. Yuck. Anyways, Lyra and Bayley beat Piper and Albert, and they were probably sweaty in their gear. They got a whole get-up where they're wearing suits. They're probably real sweaty wrestling in that. So that was the whole gauntlet match that took up so much time on SmackDown tonight. So much time. That's basically the whole show. Rey Fenix beat Berto, who used to be Humberto Carrillo, and now his name has just been shortened to Berto. He went from Humberto Carrillo to Berto. Sucks for him. Yeah. Anyways, he lost, and then Santos Escobar was like really unhappy with him, and he's like, I'm going to go congratulate Rey Fenix. You're not very good. Come on, Angel Garza, let's go. So they're just disgusted with Berto. And then Andrade came and was like, hey, Berto, you're not so bad. You should be proud of yourself. And then Berto was like, get out of here.
Mind your business.
Mind your business. And it's like, so that's going on. That's a thing that happened on SmackDown. There's a lot of little things like that mean nothing and no one cares about. And then Nick Aldis and Randy Orton did a promo in the ring. And Randy's like, look, I RKO'd you several months ago. I RKO'd you last week. I know you're mad, but I RKO'd you several months ago, and I had to pay a fine. And at that point, I gave you double the fine. And I said, this is for next time. And I thought at the time that Randy was just being kind of cheeky, kind of hey. But really, he was serious.
Yes.
And he meant it because he then RKO'd Nick Aldis. So he's like, so we're even because I've already paid the fine for that. And, I don't have a match at WrestleMania, and that's a problem for me. And Nick Aldis is like, well, I don't want your money. I want your respect, Randy. And Randy's like, if we wrestle at WrestleMania, I don't know, I might have to apologize to your wife, Mickie James. And it was like, ooh, it's his wife, Mickie James. He's doing a shoot-style promo. And I was like, all right, good, okay. And then Solo Sikoa comes out and was like, Randy, you suck. You're no good. You're old.
Yeah, you're in the past.
You're in the past. And then he goes, Randy, you're in the past. And next week, LA Knight will be in the past when Jacob Fatu takes the U.S. title from him at WrestleMania. And I was like, what the hell kind of sentence was that? You know, it was just like...
It's pretty sweaty.
It was sweaty. Man, it was very sweaty. Jacob Fatu, Solo Sikoa, big time stooge.
Oh,
like,
such a stooge.
Such a stooge promo from Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
Stoogey. And then Randy wanted to fight, you know, Solo and Tommy Tonga, so they attacked Randy. And then LA Knight made the save. And then, of course, we have a tag team match play set up for the end of the show. So that's how they open SmackDown. It's just a very basic, long-ass SmackDown, just filler, just kind of killing time before WrestleMania. No sense of urgency.
Yeah.
Like, the build to this Mania has zero, like, energy.
Yeah.
They had some
limp.
energy after Elimination Chamber with Cena and everything, and since then it's gone like, okay, let's just get to Mania.
And sometimes, like, we've had these kind of trudges into Mania, and the Mania sometimes surprise us a bit.
I think it's going to, on paper, it's pretty good.
But, yeah, it is. It's not very exciting. Like, I don't see any moments where it's like all the fans are going to be on their feet and the announcers are like, wait till Mania, oh my God, you know. And,
yeah.
You know.
Like, one of the biggest moments promo-wise going into Mania was when Charlotte and Tiffany went off script. Like, Cena and Cody have had a couple promos that have been all right. You know, Punk has said a couple things that have been kind of okay. But his whole thing with Roman and Seth is like, you don't really feel the heat there.
And all the Heyman stuff. And
yeah, like all that with the favor. And then Heyman has to be in Punk's corner. And Roman's mad about it. And Heyman has to do it because Punk's his best friend. And it's just like, all right.
What does that even like mean? Like Heyman's in your corner? Does it mean just like he'll pull the ref's leg to stop the count on Punk's behalf?
Heyman doesn't even do that for Roman. He just stands there.
He doesn't.
Not really. He doesn't get physically involved. Heyman,
I feel like the
goons get physically involved, like the Usos or Solo or whoever would get involved.
I thought Heyman would do some like put Roman's leg on the ropes to be like. None of that.
Maybe.
I mean, there've been a lot of Roman finishes, you know, of that kind of nature.
Heyman tends to just kind of watch and cheer from the sidelines. Like, I don't know.
And scream in panic when his guy's in trouble. I always like that about him.
But I think, you know, Seth Rollins cut an interesting promo this week with CM Punk on Raw, talking about how Heyman shouldn't be in Roman's corner and he shouldn't be in Punk's corner because they both don't care about him and they both have left him high and dry. Like when Roman left after WrestleMania, after he lost, Heyman was out there getting beat up and poked around by Solo Sikoa and those guys for a while. They put him through a table at Madison Square Garden in front of his kids. And Seth said all this, and it was a really good promo from Seth this week on Raw. And he talked about how when Punk, you know, left WWE, he kind of shoved Heyman and everybody associated with WWE out of his life, and he turned his back on him. And when he came back to WWE, he didn't join up with Heyman again. He kind of did his own thing, and he doesn't really care about Paul Heyman, and now he puts him into this predicament with Roman Reigns and puts him at odds with Roman. He makes him, you know, like Seth made some good points, and Heyman's sitting there listening to him, and I'm sitting there watching this promo thinking, I think Seth and Heyman at the end of Mania are going to, I think they're going to be on the same side. I think that's where we're headed. I think we're headed towards Seth, like, winning. And I've been saying that Seth is winning this match. And I think maybe the way he wins this match is with something involving Heyman, Punk, Roman, and then everybody realizing, oh no, wait, Heyman's with Seth, and then Seth winning.
Seth a chair.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, does something for Seth, and it's like, oh wait, he's with Seth. I think that's gonna be the big reveal.
The crowd's like, ah!
And the promo this week kind of foreshadowed that. It was like,
and WWE, they're not very subtle with their foreshadowing.
No, they are not. And this one was kind of like, okay, and Heyman's like listening to him, and you go, okay, Heyman's, he's like thinking about what Seth is saying. And yeah, I mean, Roman and Punk have both left Heyman in bad situations in the WWE in the past.
Well, when Punk left, you don't.
Heyman,
it's not established that he cut Heyman out of life.
No, but that's what Seth is saying.
Yeah, but like a lot of the wrestlers and stuff. But that was also, I think, for legal purposes because they could tell Vince, like, or it could be used in like the lawsuit and stuff.
Yeah.
But
well, what about when Heyman turned his back on Punk?
Yeah,
hit him with a ladder at Money
at
the Bank to join up with
Curtis
Axel
and Ryback.
How about that, Seth? You don't remember that? You were around. You should remember.
And of course, Seth also can't mention that when Punk left, Heyman was also still managing Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, he's like, it's not like Heyman was left alone. He still had his beast. But we can't mention redacted.
Yeah. He's trying to tell a story there.
Yeah,
but
he's omitting some parts.
Yeah, but still, I thought it was a good promo from Seth, and it kind of sets the stage for Heyman possibly joining up with Seth at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I can
see that happen.
I don't think he's gonna choose Punk or Roman. I think he's gonna choose neither and go with Seth Rollins. So, that was all right. Like the Punk, Roman, and Seth stuff, it's been some good moments, and it's been some good storytelling, and it's been all right. It just doesn't feel like there's a ton of heat there.
Yeah.
It just feels like guys playing the role, doing the job, like saying the lines, but it doesn't feel like there's real animosity. Like, I don't really believe that Seth and Roman dislike each other for real.
Yeah. Or Punk and Roman. I don't feel Punk an animosity.
And Roman. I do feel like Seth and Punk maybe don't like each other for real. I think there's there, but I feel like Punk and Roman, I think Punk likes Roman and wants to be liked by Roman.
Yeah, because he could see.
And in the promos, that's kind of coming off. Like at one point, he kind of bowed down. He's like, "Tribal Chief, I acknowledge you," this and that. And then they're like, and then he's like, "But this is not the favor, right?" And that was a big reveal. But he still kind of went on one knee and was like, "I acknowledge you," and he did he did all that. He's not doing that for Seth.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, he's not. Giving him a benefit of the doubt.
So there's that element with Punk where he kind of likes Roman, and he also is acknowledging that the only reason he's in the main event of Mania, Night 1, is because of Roman.
Yes.
And he is, like, admitting that in the promos, which is kind of odd from Punk, So he's kind of, like, lost a bit of the edge with Roman. Like, it doesn't feel like Punk dislikes Roman. It feels like he wants to be liked by Roman, and Roman kind of looks down on Punk as this old guy who's not that good anymore, who's only relevant, who's only on the island of relevancy because he is with Roman Reigns. I like Roman's whole vibe going into WrestleMania where he's like, I'm Roman, and he's like, you guys suck. I'm the tribal chief. Get out of my face, But him being just like, oh no, Heyman, how could you leave me? It's kind of like a little over the top. So you lose me on that. It's like, you're a grown man. You're this disappointed that your wise man isn't in your corner. Like, I get it, but the way he acted and the way he's like, oh, it's not
melodramatic.
Yeah, it's not great. So you lose me with that
bad
stuff.
Soap opera.
And then with Seth, Seth has been acting pretty good, been pretty realistic in his promos. Like, this version of Seth, I think, is the better version. He's not cackling so much. He's not doing all this extra stuff. And now we see Charlotte Flair attacking Tiffy time on SmackDown. Tiffy just beat Roxanne Perez. And now Charlotte Flair, after the match, attacking Tiffany, throwing over the announce table. Charlotte in street clothes. But I think Seth has looked pretty good throughout all this.
She shoved Wade Barrett.
Oh, Barrett getting in her face. She's shoving Wade. Wade was in between them last week in the promo. I think they're playing off that energy there with Wade. Wade Barrett is involved now in the whole Tiffany-Charlotte feud because he was in the ring last week during
Kenny Dykstra.
the now infamous promo between Tiffany and Charlotte.
Yes, it's so infamous.
It went off the rails, and now they're obviously leaning into it.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah,
leaning into
definitely.
it. They're not avoiding it. They're saying, well, it happened. Everybody's talking about it. It's got way more heat to this match that we could have ever figured out how to make, so let's go with it.
It's always it's a total accident.
I mean, it's true. It's a total accident, and it's worked. But
That's how you do it? Oh, I forgot.
But that's also, when you need to know, like, you need to know when to lean into it and when to stay away from it. Like sometimes it's too volatile and you just got to go, yeah, we're not going to go with that angle. Even though it might work, it's not smart. But I guess they figure, hey, it's so big and, I think for the most part, even if it is really volatile, you got to find a way to make it work. It doesn't really matter. And you always have to lean into whatever controversy is going, even if it's accidental.
Yeah.
I think, it's the right move. You have to go, ooh, they went off script and now they really hate each other and they're saying things that, like they said on SmackDown, they said some things. They went to places that, you can say things to your opponent, but they said some things that aren't, kind of out of bounds. You can't say those things. They're talking about, the Charlotte divorce comments from Tiffy, and then Charlotte saying that Kaiser's in her DMs, which was not supposed to happen last week, obviously. So they're playing into it. They're going right with it, and I think that's good for the match because it's going to get people way more excited than they were.
Yeah.
Like the whole I'm the new Charlotte and I'm taking over your spot and get out of here, Charlotte. Like there's an element to that, but now there's like, ooh, they really hate each other and they're going off script and it's, it's more intense now. So very good. I think the match will be good. Charlotte always delivers in a big match at WrestleMania. That's why she's the greatest of all time.
That's going to be night one, likely. If the other title match is night two.
I think it's even officially night one. I think officially, possibly, it is on night one. With Io, Bianca, and Rhea going on night two. We're going to have Tiffy, Charlotte, night one, Gunther, Jey Uso, night one, and then Roman, Punk, and Seth main eventing, night one. And then you got Io, Bianca, Rhea, night two, and then Cody and Cena main eventing, night two. Other matches at WrestleMania that don't yet have a night assigned to them include AJ Styles versus Logan Paul, LA Knight defending the U.S. title against Jacob Fatu, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez defending the tag titles against Bayley and Lyra Valkyria, Jade Cargill one-on-one with Naomi, Braun Breaker defending the Intercontinental title against Penta, Finn Balor, and Dominic Mysterio, Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano. That got made official on Raw this week, which is, Chad Gable. Mm-hmm. But I'm surprised that got on WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's not on WrestleMania. Well, it's not. You can't make it on SmackDown.
Yeah, but, I mean...
It's Rey. It's their spot for Rey.
I guess.
And Gable will give a good match.
Yeah. Damian Priest will wrestle Drew McIntyre in what's being called a Sin City street fight. They did a promo tonight, and they had a brawl. Priest and Drew. Drew hit the Future Shock DDT on Damian Priest on the steel steps outside the ring and knocked him out. And the War Raiders will defend the World Tag Team titles, that's the Raw titles, against the New Day. So the New Day getting a match at WrestleMania.
It's interesting.
Kind of surprising. They are putting one set of tag titles at WrestleMania. It's not the SmackDown ones. It's the Raw ones.
They got the inductors.
What is this? Oh.
Who's inducting who?
Triple H inducted by Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And Lex Luger will be inducted by DDP. And the Immortal Moment will be inducted by CM Punk. He will talk about Brett and Stone Cold.
And Undertaker's inducting his wife.
Who was inducted in the natural
They didn't say.
disasters? They didn't say.
They showed them, but they didn't say.
Interesting.
Probably
Okay.
their kids or something. Maybe like John Tenta's son or something. Oh, well, Typhoon's still alive.
Yeah, well, he's gonna be
he's not
inducted.
inducted,
He's
yeah.
not inducting himself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sorry.
It's Hall of Fame is next week after SmackDown, right?
After WrestleMania SmackDown.
Oh, sorry.
Wow.
Fuck off.
We got no Johnny North here. We got someone to be, toe the company in line.
Yeah, to be a goddamn.
Use the vocab, pal.
I need a stooge like Johnny North.
Yeah.
What a stooge, brother. Leor in the chat, member of the team, says crazy that we're 8 days away from WrestleMania and SmackDown is as bad as it is.
I mean, I'm sure there have been other bad SmackDown because they don't want anyone getting injured before Mania, so it's a pretty light.
It is, but
schedule.
but even on promos, it's bad.
Yeah, that's less makes sense.
They got nothing. It's very bad. This has been an awful watch. Like, it's 3 hours of nothing.
He's got the last match. This is the second Punk video package.
Another Punk video package where he's given the GTS to Roman Reigns. This is last week on SmackDown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Ridiculous. They've done nothing on SmackDown tonight. Zelina Vega beat Chelsea Green by countout.
Oh, God.
That was really bad. The finish was just odd. They were fighting on the outside, and then Zelina rolled back into the ring, and Chelsea was arguing with commentary, and then she rolled back into the ring, and Zelina was selling, and I think that was part of the problem, is that Zelina was selling, looking like she was hurt, and Chelsea went to pin her, and then the bell just rang, and the whole crowd was quiet, and commentary didn't know what had happened, and then the referee, I guess, had called for the bell, and then the ring announcer, after some time, goes, "Oh, Zelina wins because of a count-out." Chelsea got counted out, but it was really unclear. Nobody in the arena could tell what happened. It was a terrible finish. And it was just there was all the attention on Chelsea arguing with commentary, so no one was paying attention to the referee doing the count-out. And then when Chelsea came back in the ring, Zelina was down and looked like Chelsea was going to pin her. And then the bell just rang, and you're like, did Zelina get hurt? Did something happen? What's going on?
It's a botch right now.
Yeah, it was really weird.
The announcers did nothing also.
No, they were confused
to
too.
Convey, but they
didn't know what was going on.
Weren't they supposed? Don't they have scripts that say it's going to be a count out? Chelsea's distracted, but they're not saying "Hey Chelsea, why don't you look at the referee?
I don't know.
He's at 9."
I don't know if they know the finishes.
Yeah.
I don't think that the commentary gets the finish.
I thought they have really thick scripts.
Not always. I don't think they always know the finish.
With stuff to stress and.
I don't know.
I don't know. Michael Cole has really thick scripts.
Oof. Naomi and Jade Cargill wrestling at Mania. They did a promo on SmackDown tonight that was very bad.
It was very bad.
It was cringy bad.
They were responding to each other in pre-recorded video responses.
Oh, this is really awful. This evil Naomi is not working. And Jade Cargill as this baby face,
underdog?
I guess? I don't know what she's supposed to be, but it was just...
Having trouble believing.
It was not good.
When she said, I'm not a rookie anymore, my first thought was no?
Yeah. You're still kind of a rookie.
I feel just a little under-seasoned, just... I don't know about you in singles matches yet, Jade.
Yeah.
The tag team thing was a bit of a cover. It was to hide some of your more glaring kind of errors. So, I still do think of her a bit as not a rookie, but, if you're not a rookie and you're underperforming, then you're a bust.
Yeah. She's, she's saying she's not a rookie because it's her second Mania, I guess, but she's still, she spent most of her time injured or wherever.
Doing hot tags. She was just a hot tag with Bianca,
Yeah.
in that team.
But I'm saying most of her time in WWE at this point has been spent on the show. She's been gone for months. I don't know. I don't have high hopes for Jade and Naomi at WrestleMania. Like, what's that going to be?
Yeah, and like...
That could be all-time awful. Because you know they're going to try to do some stuff, and it won't work, and it's going to go terribly wrong.
And Bianca's got a match to worry about. She's not going to be involved in this, like, match or anything.
Yeah, Bianca's got to distance herself from that mess.
Yeah. So.
Bianca's got to stay with Io and Rhea, because they can work. They know what they're doing. Bianca needs to stay the hell away from Naomi.
That match should be a Sin City street fight, Jade and Naomi.
Yeah, they need to add something to it because just a straight-up wrestling match is going to be difficult to work at Mania.
Salad dressing on that.
Yeah. Yeah, like there are a few matches on this Mania card where you go, what the hell is this going to be?
No ladder match.
Jade Cargill and Naomi.
I thought we were going to get some kind of ladder match.
Yeah, no multi-person ladder match.
I thought Braun and all that would be a ladder match.
Nope. And what's Randy going to do? Is he going to wrestle Nick Aldis at WrestleMania? And if so, why? Or Solo, maybe? Solo doesn't have a match.
Yeah, it's kind of like him. I thought him interrupting in the promo earlier
was leading
him being like, hey, Randy, I don't have a match either.
Yeah.
Can we just put something together? I was just going to interfere in the Jacob Fatu match, but now they tell me we need you to wrestle Randy. So, yeah, let's do it.
So that'd be great for me. I'd be happy with that.
It's better than Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
Because I was asking you, like, they had never, like, established Nick Aldis as a wrestler. Like, when they introduced him, when he just, like, popped up into the ring, it was like, hi, I'm the GM of SmackDown. They never said, oh, that's Nick Aldis. He used to wrestle TNA, like, former NWA champion or something, like.
They never explained.
Brutus Magnus.
Never explained.
No, he's just a jacked guy in a suit and a British guy, accent. Just.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden he's like, I want respect, Randy. I'll see you in the ring at WrestleMania.
And then Randy makes that crack about Mickie James, and I'm sure a lot of the audience was like, what?
Or also, like, who's
you
Mickie
have to
James
know,
again?
Well, yeah, you have to know he's married to Mickie James.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
not everyone's watching Legends and Future Greats.
I think Solo and Randy is a better move than Nick Aldis and Randy.
Yeah.
Nick Aldis should not be wrestling because they haven't established him as a wrestler, and then to throw him at WrestleMania, it's like, why? Why would this happen? I'd rather see Solo, even though at this point, like, don't do a match at Mania. I know Randy wants to wrestle at WrestleMania, but like, it seems unnecessary to see him wrestle Solo Sikoa just because Randy needs a Mania match.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing there. Why? Why?
Randy hates the bloodline.
Like, that's it. There's no real reason behind it. I think you should have done Randy versus Sami Zayn, and Sami should have come out and started arguing to Randy about how he was the one who hurt Kevin because he attacked him and all of this, and Randy should say, well, no, you hurt Kevin in your match at the Chamber, and then they argue about who hurt Kevin the most, and then they fight each other, and then you have a match at WrestleMania over who's a better friend to Kevin Owens. I think that works, but, because, then you have a bit of a story. You can play off the Kevin Owens thing that's already established, and you can give Sami Zayn a match for WrestleMania. Like, I don't know if he's hurt or not. I don't know where he's at, but he's got nothing going on, and that seems weird. Seems weird to feature a guy so much, and then come WrestleMania time, he's just not around. Maybe that's self-imposed for some reason. I don't know. But it's odd.
Despite Kevin's injury, these guys have been heavily featured the last few Manias, so you would think they'd have a spot.
Yeah. WrestleMania is the time where you don't just take time off for no reason, unless the company has really nothing for you. But you would think they'd have something for Sami Zayn.
His last three Manias, it was Gunther last year, the tag match with the Usos in the main event.
Yeah.
And then the Johnny Knoxville match, which, wasn't elevated, was better than we thought it'd be.
He could be hurt, though. Like, he hasn't wrestled since that Chamber match, and it was a pretty intense match. He could be hurt, and he can't wrestle, possibly. I don't know. Maybe he was hurting, and they didn't have much for him, and he just figured it's not worth it. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Sami Zayn, but I find it strange that he's not in anything at Mania. Yeah,
their absence will be felt.
A lot of absences. Nia Jax is absent. Where's Nia Jax, brother?
That's so.
I mean, yeah, it's not such a huge deal. So Mania is next week. We'll do the full Mania breakdown, match by match, next week. We'll give you our predictions for all the matches. I think we've kind of covered it over the weeks here. What else is going on? Like, I feel like WWE, there's no...
It's just Mania and video packages.
There's no buzz around WWE. Like, there's nothing really happening. That Tiffy Charlotte thing was like the biggest thing to happen, and it wasn't supposed to happen. Everything else has been so cookie cutter, kind of just plotting along the trail until we get to the big show.
Where? And there won't be the big show. He won't be there. No Paul White.
Don't even have the big show.
I miss Will.
And now we'll have LA Knight and Randy Orton wrestling each other against Solo. Or sorry, LA Knight and Randy Orton teaming with each other against Solo and Tama Tonga. And that's the main event of SmackDown coming up here. And then, you know, I would assume Jacob Fatu would get involved in some way in this match. And that'll lead to the finish and whatever.
He probably caused a disqualification.
Yeah, it's a no contest. He attacks
After
a bunch of guys.
20 minutes.
Jacob Fatu.
He'll attack LA Knight. Yeah.
Maybe they make Jacob Fatu, LA Knight like a 4-way with Randy and Solo.
Maybe if this match does a lot to build, like if
you could degenerate this, where Solo and Jacob get into it for some reason, like maybe they're about to win and Jacob interferes and Solo gets mad because he thinks he's got the match won and he gets into it with Jacob, and it's a whole
And maybe LA and Randy don't get along. You know, LA's kind of cocky.
Yep.
I could see LA slapping Randy's back for a tag when Randy doesn't expect it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a way to do it.
It starts a little tension there. Then maybe, you know, an RKO at some point, you know?
Because I, for one, think that Randy, LA, Solo, and Jacob ties a lot of stuff together and is a more compelling WrestleMania match for the U.S. title than LA Knight versus Jacob one-on-one, and then also Solo versus Randy one-on-one.
Yeah.
Like, I would much rather just combine the two matches.
That'd be more fun.
And make it a 4-way for the U.S. title.
I'd be actually excited for that match.
I would be, too.
Be a lot of interesting elements.
Yeah. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, Randy Orton, 4-way for the U.S. title at Mania. Book it, Triple H. We'll see how this tag match plays out, but
yeah,
I don't know. I don't have high hopes for the directions here for these guys for WrestleMania. Randy's whole thing got derailed unless they have a cool plan here. I mean, if they have a plan for Randy, you would think that it would play out here in this match because we're a week out. Last week we find out Kevin's hurt, so it's like, okay, we have no plan for Randy for Mania. Give us a week to think about it. This is a week to think about it. You know, what have they thought of? What do they have?
Yeah, is this conventional or do they try to build something?
So it's an interesting main event in a way from a certain angle where you look at it and you go, well, what is the direction for Randy here? Because clearly they want to give Randy a match for WrestleMania. They're not going to leave him off the card. He came at the top of the show with a promo saying, hey, I don't have a match for Mania, and I need a match for Mania, and all of this. So you go, okay, they need to do one of these, so he's got to be against somebody. Who's it going to be? Solo Sikoa in a one-on-one match, I feel like is the leading candidate, but Randy and Solo in the ring together right now, but I just
it's the chemistry.
I just don't need it because I would see Randy winning that, and then that doesn't do much for Solo.
Yeah,
you know, kind of hurts Solo. Doesn't do much for Randy to win that.
Yeah, it's just an RKO to pop the crowd.
And I feel like Solo at this point beating Randy would be weird because he's just not booked very strong lately.
No, his character right now is like jealous kind of Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. So for him to just beat Randy doesn't make a ton of sense unless you're building up Solo to face Jacob Fatu as the U.S. champion.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Jacob beats LA at WrestleMania, then Solo wins against Randy, and then it's like, hey, I just beat Randy, I'm the #1 contender type of thing. Maybe.
Or if Solo loses, he's angry at Jacob Fatu that he wasn't there to back him up, and I thought we're supposed to have each other's backs.
And Jacob is too busy being U.S. champion and impressed with himself to care.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, there's directions you can take everything, I guess. But I do feel like a 4-way would be the most fun thing for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Also, I don't want to, like, I would rather sit through one match with all 4 guys than 2 matches with, you know, the 4 guys. Like, why?
One match that lasts 15 minutes instead of
2 matches that last
like 18,
10
combined.
each. Yeah, that's it. It's like I'm saving 3 minutes and it's worth it.
Wait a minute.
It's well worth it.
Did I just hear you say?
Oh no.
3 minutes.
Oh, here come Rosie and Jamal, brother. I'm in trouble. Rest in peace to both of them.
Yeah. God damn. Yeah, I'm too young.
Solo attacking Randy on SmackDown right now. AEW Dynasty happened last week. AEW doing some things. Jon Moxley retaining the AEW World Championship, beating Swerve in the main event with help from the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks returning and helping Moxley. But then on Dynamite, they seem to want to kind of join up with Moxley, and Moxley wanted none of it. So they're not together.
No. They did him a favor, and he didn't appreciate it.
Yeah. The Bucks are still with Okada, and Okada seems to be going after Kenny Omega now. Like, they seem to be starting towards Kenny and Okada, which is pretty cool.
I mean,
you know, they
classic match.
They did a promo on Dynamite this week. It's good to see the Young Bucks back. It's good to see Kenny back, obviously. All that going together. And they said, the Bucks said that they didn't do it for Jon Moxley. They did it, they attacked Swerve for Hangman.
They did it
because
for Hangman.
Hangman's their good friend. They love Hangman.
So they hate,
and
Swerve.
Hangman hates Swerve, even though it seemed like last week on Dynamite that Hangman was kind of like willing to forgive Swerve and not cost him the championship.
Bucks didn't get the message.
Yeah. So, Kenny Omega beating Ricochet and Speedball Bailey. Tremendous match for the AEW International Championship. Match of the night for sure at Dynasty. I would say.
Saw a promo of Don Callis trying to recruit Speedball, and they like swore at each other in French.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't see that.
Oh.
What was that on? Maybe I missed it.
I'm guessing
was that on Dynamite this week? I might have missed it.
I saw a clip.
Huh.
And they used some pretty spicy phrases.
Oh, bad French words to each other?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
But yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah.
Was that on Dynamite? Maybe that was on Collision and I missed it.
Yeah, maybe it was on Collision. Might have been on Collision.
Yeah, I didn't see that on Dynamite this week, but maybe I missed it somehow. But Speedball Bailey's having a nice little run in AEW so far. Really good match with Kenny and Ricochet at the pay-per-view. Pay-per-view was solid. Bandito beating Chris Jericho for the Ring of Honor title. Then Jericho cutting a promo on his guys at Dynamite this week. And kind of disgusted with them. Big Cass and Brian Keith. And now Jericho's going away for a while to do a tour with Fozzy.
Yeah.
And they're saying it's like not clear when he'll come back. So like an extended hiatus for Jericho now, which, it's fine. I think he can come back every now and again. He doesn't have to be there all the time.
I mean,
I think he's starting to wind.
51?
He's got to be starting to wind down. Jericho at this point is 54.
54.
Yeah, like come on.
Like yeah, Like he's the age when like Ric Flair was wrestling. We were like, man, Ric Flair's still wrestling, you know?
Yeah, I think Jericho to come back every now and again is better than having like a regular Jericho on TV. He doesn't need to do that anymore. It's just not necessary. If he wants to, fine, I guess, but like, you know, for his health and everything and for his well-being and for his family, whatever. Like, I don't know. The guy seems to want to be on the road all the time. Like, when he's not wrestling, he's with Fozzy, whatever.
True.
Like, he doesn't seem to want to be home and everything. Yeah, he's got a cruise. I don't know.
You know, he's a worker at heart, you know?
Yeah.
Just always on the road, brother.
That's all he knows.
You know?
It's what he's always been. Bandito, new Ring of Honor champion.
Bandito?
What are you, Bandito? Timeless Tony Storm beat Megan Bayne to retain the AEW World title. Everybody's coming after Tony Storm. She's fantastic. Another good match there from Tony Storm. Kyle Fletcher beat Mark Briscoe to advance in the Owen Hart tournament. The Death Riders beat Rated FTR, and then FTR beat up Edge. They turned on Edge.
Oh.
FTR turned heel and attacked Edge.
Everyone turns on Edge.
Those egg-sucking dogs. Can't believe they did that.
And
RKO on Tommy Tonga.
Apparently Pac suffered a pretty bad injury.
Did he?
I heard...
he wrestled on Dynamite, didn't he, this week?
Yeah, I heard he's hurt.
Did he get hurt on Dynamite?
Like he hurt his leg again or his ankle.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not good.
Yeah. Match ended kind of abruptly there against Swerve.
He's hurt. Hey, Charles Robinson in the ring. Remember Jericho? And
Randy and Solo Sikoa just fought off.
Oh, yeah.
They just, like, brawled away from the ring. And now Tama Tonga and LA Knight are by themselves in the ring, and LA Knight hits the BFT, Blunt Force Trauma on Tommy Tonga 1, 2, 3, and it's over.
I guess now a post-match beat down from Fatu.
But I think it's significant that Randy and Solo went off screen together, fighting each other, showing that they have unfinished business.
Speaking of the
and
devil.
now Jacob Fatu shows up after LA Knight has won the match for his team, and Fatu super kicks LA Knight with, of course, Randy Orton gone now. And Tama Tonga has also disappeared.
Yeah.
Everyone's gone. It's just LA and Jacob in the ring, and Jacob beating up on LA Knight now. As we come to the end of SmackDown, we're setting up this U.S. title match for WrestleMania. That's how we end SmackDown tonight, by, you know, building up that one.
The US title.
And I guess building towards Randy and Solo one-on-one at WrestleMania.
Yeah. Second match of night 2.
Unnecessary. Sorry.
Wrong pipe. Jeez, brother.
Didn't work.
Yeah, I was just saying.
Try again.
Charles Robinson in the ring. He was the referee when Pac, got hurt in the ring with Chris Jericho. And Jericho shoved Charles Robinson to kind of finish the match because Robinson didn't get the message that Adrian Neville was hurt. And Jericho's like, he's hurt.
Did he push him?
He shoved it, and then Robinson was like, "Don't you fucking shove me!"
Oh
and, he thought Jericho was shooting on him. Like it got real fast. Like he shoved him back. Like it got real. Mm-hmm. And then Jericho's like, "He's hurt. Like calm down. Like
yeah.
Like I'm trying to help you here."
And then Jacob Fatu holding up the U.S. title as SmackDown comes to an end here.
Paul Levesque. Lee Fitting.
What a bad episode of SmackDown that was. Awful. Awful. Just terrible.
In Seattle. Good night, Seattle. We love you.
Jacob Fatu has left the building.
Oh, no.
Tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
Oh, that was a rough-looking one.
Wow, he just hit him with another moonsault, and then the ref checked on LA Knight immediately.
Yeah, well, landed on his face.
Yeah, that was rough.
There's shoulders.
That's bad. Almost as bad as Hook suffering what appeared to be a concussion in his match and then puking in the ring and then getting suplexed after the match on like a chair. That happened on Dynamite this week. That was the main event of Dynamite. It was Samoan Joe and Hook getting the win over Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, but they were worse for the wear afterwards. They were pretty rough, as Hook looked pretty shaken up and appeared, concussed, possibly. Definitely threw up in the ring.
Yeah.
That was visible. He looked messed up.
Yeah.
It
wasn't just like, you work and you get a little gas and you puke. I think it was more like he was on the ground. He was like...
Yeah, he looked...
And, that's what happens when you suffer a concussion. Like,
yeah, but just how does nobody stop that? How does nobody take care of him in that moment? There's so many guys there. Nobody's taking care of Hook. What happened? What happened? That was a disaster.
Who was the ref?
I don't know. Bryce Remsburg, maybe? I'm not sure, actually, who the ref was. But, I mean, it's not just the ref. I mean, what about Claudio? What about Joe? What about somebody else that's in the ring, that's in the match?
Yeah, who's there to shove the ref?
It was bad. Like, Hook was clearly shaken up and out of it, and they tried to just kind of drag him through it, but I don't know. I don't know if he comes back anytime soon after that. I don't know if he was concussed necessarily, but I don't know what else could have happened to him. He looked... I mean, if he wasn't concussed, he was, drunk. You know what I mean? I don't know what could have been going on with him, or very sick. Maybe he had a terrible flu.
It happens.
It happened. I don't know, but it looked bad.
Stomach illnesses.
It looked bad. Because it looked like at a certain point in the match, he went off a cliff.
Yeah.
Which leads many people to believe he was concussed and then he puked.
It happens.
It does happen, but, man, when you're that bad, you don't see wrestlers puke in the ring. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen.
Very
it's very rare.
Yeah, Aaliyah, I think, because that was nerves.
Okay, maybe nerves.
But that's the thing, it's nerves. Or it's they get gassed out a bit or something. It's not.
That's not what that was.
Because they bumped and then they're in serious trouble. If I'm Taz, I'm pissed off. I'm trying to start a fight backstage or something.
He's ringside. I'm surprised.
Taz was calling the match.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't notice, get involved, do something.
Your son, that's your kin, baby.
Yeah, it was bad. It was a bad scene. It's a bad look for AEW.
Yeah, because they've, done that before.
Makes them look irresponsible.
There's been some work, I always think back to Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
Some, some other matches where they'll just let people get dropped on their heads.
Yeah, knocked out.
Unsafe.
I mean, Matt Hardy was knocked out, and then he got to continue the match for some reason. Yeah, AEW seems unsafe. It seems unsafe when you see things like that go down.
Yeah.
I don't trust AEW. I enjoy AEW, but I don't trust them one bit.
And also the way the office kind of handles people who need to see a doctor, or they're kind of iffy on that. Someone recently complained how AEW wasn't paying attention to him saying I'm banged up or I'm hurt, and they're like, "Oh, we'll drive you to the hospital" or something. There's something.
Was that Ray Phoenix with the?
Maybe it was Ray Phoenix. I think it was Ray Phoenix. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was Ray Phoenix.
He was banged up, and he was not.
But there was that story where it was I thought he was hungry, and they sent him to a restaurant.
Yeah.
But that was not. I don't know if that was real.
Yeah.
But now, after hearing Ray Phoenix's English, I'm starting to think that was real. After hearing Ray Phoenix's promo last week, if Ray Phoenix comes up to me and he's and he tries to tell me he's injured in English. It might sound like I'm hungry because Ray Phoenix last week in his promo said, "I'm rich with animals."
Yeah, so I'm hurting could come out hungry.
He says, "I am WWE animal."
I'm really hurting.
I'm really hungry. You're
really
hungry? Yes.
In my stomach. My stomach hungry.
My stomach.
Okay, I got some Olive Garden coupons. Here you go.
Thank you. Ray Phoenix. Anyways, Rey Fenix wrestled tonight too. He's not in AEW anymore. Chris Statlander is though, still. And she wrestled Thunder Rosa, and she beat Thunder Rosa to advance in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. The winner of the tournaments will face the champion at All in July.
Texas.
The finals of the tournament will take place at Double or Nothing, which is AEW's next pay-per-view, on May 25th. Mercedes Moné advanced on the pay-per-view, beating Julia Hart. She is in the semifinals of the tournament. She'll face the winner of Harley Cameron and Athena. I'm thinking probably Athena, which will be a big match. Mercedes versus Athena, the winner going to the finals on pay-per-view at Double or Nothing. And then Chris Statlander will face the winner of Jamie Hayter and Billy Starks, which I think maybe Jamie Hayter will win, I would say.
Mm.
And then we'll see Jamie Hayter and Statlander. I think Statlander has a good shot of going to the finals to face Mercedes Moné.
Yeah, but it feels foregone that Mercedes is winning the whole thing. Have a big clash of the two big super champs.
I think that would be a pretty cool match for All In, don't you? Mercedes versus Tony.
Yeah, it's a big what if.
Two biggest stars in the women's division for sure.
I don't know who wins that.
No.
I would maybe put more money on Mercedes.
That's a box office match right there. Yeah. That's big.
It's Boffo box office.
That's right. I mean, it's Mercedes versus Tony Storm, the CEO versus Timeless. I think it's the move. Mercedes has been unbeatable. Tony has been on top, just killing everything. It's the match to make.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope they make it for All In. I hope Mercedes does win the Owen and goes on to face Tony Storm. I think that would be incredible. Because, again, it's like, who wins? How do you what happens? Who wins?
I think Mercedes.
I do, too. I think it's a better story if Mercedes wins because the rematch is even bigger.
Yeah.
And then there's more rematches off that, I think.
And it's more about beating Mercedes than, you know what I mean? Because Mercedes hasn't really lost yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's Tony has lost.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like she's held the bet, never, the whole Mariah May thing. So,
yeah.
She's capable of losing.
And Mercedes is champion of so many different things, so many different promotions. She's a belt collector. To collect another belt would make sense.
Yeah, and fans who are tired of Mercedes, and there are out there, would probably think, oh, well, Tony Storm's going to beat Mercedes. She'll be our hero.
Yeah, and
then she falls short.
They'll be so mad when Mercedes
does
beats Tony.
Does the thing with the
And the match will be incredible, too.
The match will be good.
Because Mercedes is an incredible wrestler, and so is Tony. That match will be sick. I really hope they do that.
I think it makes much story sense for Mercedes.
That's the move. Will Ospreay on the men's side is in the semifinals, beating Kevin Knight in the opener of the Owen. I think it'll be Will Ospreay at the end of this thing.
Yeah.
Winning. Most likely, it'll be Ospreay against Jon Moxley for the AEW title and All In, and that'll be Ospreay's crowning moment.
It better be.
I would hope so. Him or Hangman. Hangman's in this tournament too. He still hasn't had his opening round match, but it's against a wild card entrant who could be anybody. I think it might be
Christian
Swerve.
That's a wild card.
Yeah,
he wants back in.
Or MJF, or it could be MJF.
That's
I think it's going to be one of those, and it's oh my God, this match is happening now. I think it'll be that type of thing. So I don't know if Hangman gets past that. And then whoever is the wild card, that's the thing. It's hard to predict the winner of the tournament when there's somebody in this tournament who's a mystery. Mm-hmm. Is it Swerve? Is it MJF? Does it matter who it is? If it's, Swerve. Is
Darby Allin back?
Well, that's it. If it's MJF or Swerve or Darby, you go, well, they have a shot to win the whole thing.
That's true.
So, I don't know. It seems like it's Will Ospreay's tournament to win. He's already in the semifinals, but, Hangman is also in this, and then there's a wild card. I don't think Kyle Fletcher wins a tournament to go up against Moxley at All In. It doesn't make a lot of sense. No sense. They're both heels. Fletcher's qualified for the semifinals, beating Mark Briscoe, but, whatever. You know, he's going to face the winner of Hangman versus Wild Card, whatever that is. And then you got Brody King wrestling Konosuke Takeshita. I don't think either of those guys go on to face Moxley either, because Brody King is a babyface, but he's not going to go on and do that. And Takeshita is a heel, so again, it's not going to happen. Like Takeshita is booked strong, but not to face Moxley. It just doesn't line up. So yeah, Ospreay seems like the move, or Hangman, or the Wild Card, because I think MJF works either way. Like, I think if it is MJF as a wild card, he could go on and face Moxley, even though he's a heel, because it's like he's doing a whole different thing. And he could say, like, hey, I'm with... Because he's doing a thing now where he's kind of with the Hurt Syndicate, but they don't really like him. But MVP's kind of convinced them to let him hang out, and Shelton kind of likes... It's really Bobby that doesn't like him, but Shelton kind of likes him now. So they're doing that whole thing. So maybe it's like a test, like, hey... It's all in. Are you guys going to help me win the world title? And then maybe they do
fight off the Death Riders.
Maybe they do fight off the Death Riders, and it's like a big babyface moment, and they're all real happy because people do like the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah,
they like them. They're babyfaces. So if MJF joins them, maybe he's a babyface too to go up against the evil Death Riders. And they fight off the Death Riders, and then MJF wins the title. Like, maybe that happens.
And they kind of make the feud, the story like about like how MJF's like, man, Moxley, like, you've done jack shit with the title. Like, it's been boring as hell.
Yeah. I'm here to make AEW amazing and fun, and I'm the best AEW.
We're sick of your boring shit.
Like, you're not the best AEW world champion. I am, and here I am as a champion again.
I'll be a multi-time champion, too.
I think that would be good. I think it would be good to see MJF take over AEW again. I think anything to get the belt off Jon Moxley, but MJF is obviously a great candidate. Hangman would be a great candidate. Will Ospreay would also be a great candidate. I mean, Ospreay as world champion would be cool. I think it's a matter of time, and maybe the time is all in. Like, if he wins the tournament, I think no matter what, Moxley must lose at all in. He must.
He has to.
He has to. He has to. I think everybody that watches AEW is in agreement. Like, it's got to end at All In. It goddamn has to. Because it's not helping AEW at all to have this guy on top. They are suffering with Moxley on top. And the fact that they continue to keep him on top and don't pull the emergency switch and go, let's just switch.
Yeah, and just have it be the Swerve Show.
But they seem to have this plan that they're sticking to.
Yeah.
And it's irritating as hell. And I wish they would just go, switch! It's not working!
You know what it feels like? It's like Tony Khan is just thinking, I'm going to do my Roman Reigns storyline, where this guy is just champion forever, and people keep thinking, oh, this guy's going to take it off, and this guy keeps... and I'm going to do my bloodline in Roman Reigns, because I got my guy from The Shield. And,
I don't think that's it.
And, like, he's just...
I don't think that's it.
It's bad, but it's just like, it's what he's thinking.
I think what it is he told Moxley that the plan is for him to drop it at All In. He's going to hold it to All In, and we're going to do this and that, and then Ospreay or whatever is going to beat you at All In. Moxley says fine. Tony Khan at some point may realize that Moxley's title reign is not working. But I think he is too scared to tell Moxley it's not working and we got to pull the plug.
Yeah.
Because then Moxley blows it and he's like, what? You know what I mean? I think he is just afraid to really take hold of this thing and go, this is what needs to happen. Because people feared Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
They loved him, but they feared him.
Yeah, because
I think people fear Triple H to a certain extent. I think there's like a I don't really know what to do with him, and
they're also a little. I mean, not Triple H as much nowadays, but a little physical imposing.
A little bit too. The wrestlers do not fear Tony Khan. They tell him what to do, especially Jon Moxley. The guys at the top of the card are telling him what to do. Nobody fears Tony Khan.
No, nobody should.
No. They talk about him like he's a little buddy, you know? All right, little buddy, whatever you say. They're not listening to him. They don't fear him. So even if Tony Khan thought, like, man, this isn't working. I need to pull the plug on this title run. The next thought goes, oh, how do I tell Moxley? And then he goes, oh, forget it. I'm not going to tell Moxley. I can't do it. I can't.
Like,
and he's got nobody there that he can send to tell Moxley.
No, he's got no, like, talent relations.
No, he's got no, like, buffer people to keep
Jim
him.
Ross.
That's what you need as the promoter, like a bunch of people around you to deliver the bad news.
Some stooges.
I don't know if he's got
stooges.
I don't know if he's got any good stooges
Shivani?
around. Yeah, well, exactly.
Shivani
is also too scared and not going to do anything. Like, I think Shivani is like lead stooge, but that's not working.
Yeah.
It's not working. So, whatever. Moxley's title run is just a complete disaster, but I think by July it'll be over.
God damn, pal.
Yep. And the goons still have the trios belts, but that's kind of beside the point. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Moxley beat Shibata in a really long match to kick off Dynamite this week. That was just like, God. To watch this guy wrestle again. He's so boring. He's just killing AEW.
Moxley, man.
Yep.
I always think back to that match.
It's hard to watch.
At a SmackDown taping in Ottawa.
Oh, it was the worst match I ever saw.
Ziggler.
Yeah, that's the worst match I ever saw. Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler.
So slow.
On a SmackDown taping, and it was so long, they did nothing. They did so little, it was crazy.
There was this one spot I'll never forget of Ambrose, like Ziggler's down, Ambrose goes to like the second rope.
Yeah.
Jumps and like stomps.
Yeah.
And then he just went up, did it again.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell is going on? And the crowd, like, there was not much of a crowd there in Ottawa, but, like, I just remember, like, we could shout, like, what the hell are you doing? We were shouting, go home.
Yeah, we're like, what was that?
Yeah, and they could hear us.
Yeah, of course
they were looking up.
Because the crowd was dead quiet, and we're just, like, heckling them because it was the worst match we'd ever seen in our lives.
We've
and
seen
it was
some bad ones.
And it was going on forever. And then I think what we didn't realize is they were told to go eat up time for the live crowd because the show, they spend money on tickets, so you expect a certain length of show. So I think they were just there to fill time, but they also knew that their match was going to get cut significantly for TV because when you saw that match on TV, it was nowhere near as bad because they cut out like 80% of it. Like they
cut out the stomps.
They cut out so much. They cut out like most of that match. It was like a 20-minute match that they made 5.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I'd never seen anything like it. It was like, wow, this is so bad. How are they going to fix this on TV? And I was like, oh, they just cut 75% of the match and just gave you the highlights and kind of edited it perfectly together where you couldn't really tell. Good job. It was so crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ambrose and Ziggler had the worst match I'd ever seen in my life in person. I never saw a worse match than that. It was horrible.
Moxley.
And now Moxley. Yeah. Ambrose was a guy who I just destroyed when he was in WWE.
Yeah.
I would just
every week we had like a new problem with this
Because
guy.
he was so bad. He was so bad. He did so much. He was so lazy. He was so the same. He was so boring. And then when he went to AEW, like there was a new edge to him and he was a little bit more interesting. But now he's settled into this character as the world champion where he is just painful to watch. I don't know anybody who's enjoying this. The Death Riders are not fun. No one wants to see Claudio or Pac or Wheeler or Marina or Moxley. And again, like, this is what I was saying about these people and this group when they were formed and they attacked Bryan Danielson. I said it then.
Yeah.
You were here.
Yeah.
And I was looking at you going, these guys all suck. What makes them think that putting them together is going to make them over and popular as a main event group. And months later now, almost a year later now, it's like, yeah, it sucks. It took a little while for people to go, wow, this is really boring, eh? And I'm like, yeah, I knew it was going to be boring. I predicted how boring this would be because I saw the people involved, and I go, no one can talk. Not a single member of this group can cut a promo. Nobody. You don't know me. And people want to go, oh, well, give Claudio a chance. No,
never.
He's been given fucking chances. He can't talk. It wasn't the WWE's fault. They didn't hold him back.
Yeah.
They
wanted him to talk.
Yes, they wanted him to have charisma. He couldn't. This is what some people need to realize about their favorite wrestlers in the WWE. When they leave WWE, it doesn't magically make them better.
No.
At any aspect of pro wrestling. Sometimes they're given more of an opportunity, whatever. But, Toni Storm was great when she was in WWE. She just didn't like working there, so she left. Claudio was who he was in WWE and is who he is in AEW. Andrade is a perfect example of being, mid-level, whatever, Andrade in WWE, going to AEW, being the same mid-level Andrade in AEW, then going back to WWE and being the same mid-level nothing Andrade. And it's not that any one of these companies have held him back. That's just who and what he is.
It's the ceiling.
Don't think that Rusev and Malachi Black or Aleister Black coming to WWE is going to be this huge revelation where it's all of a sudden, whoa.
Rusev Day is the champ.
This guy, Aleister Black, when he left WWE, went on and on and on about how they didn't listen to his creative vision and he couldn't do this and he couldn't do that. He went to AEW where you're given the freedom to do whatever you want, and he did absolutely nothing. Now he's going to go back to WWE, and I'm sure in his mind it's it's different because it's Triple H and it's not Vince anymore. But it's really still mostly the same. It's slightly different, but it's, don't think it's going to work better now. Now you just have to do promos with fucking Tony Hinchcliffe and Bert Kreischer, which is fucking despicable. Those idiots were on Raw this week, by the way. Those dumbasses. Those
sticking up the airwaves.
Unfunny, Joe Rogan, ass-kissing, shitty
Stooges.
Fucking hack stooge.
Serious stooge.
Hack comedians. As hack as it gets.
I think that's why those guys are the ones who are you can't make jokes and I'm so edgy. It's just because their material's so hack that when you criticize it, they think, you're not criticizing my hack material, it's something else. It's not my terrible material, my lack of ideas.
Tony Hinchcliffe is a wormy, racist, garbage, hack comedian who does a stupid show called Kill Tony that's now been picked up on Netflix, so the WWE's promoting it on Raw because that's what they do with the Netflix partnership. And it's filled with a bunch of dumbasses from his audience that go up and try comedy and then get made fun of because they're bad at it, and
it's very hard to do.
And they're taking from a pool of idiots that are Kill Tony fans, so you're not getting the brightest of the bunch. And then the ones that actually win their favor and get brought back are equally stupid, and some of them have some serious physical and mental issues going on, and they are continuously mocked for that on the show, and then brought back to be made fun of. And then they act like these are also real comedians, but Tony Hinchcliffe just acts like they're real comedians, so in comparison, he looks like a brilliant comedian, when in fact, he is not. These are stupid guys with no material, with no jokes, who are just a cavalcade of freaks that Tony Hinchcliffe brings out to make him and his dumb buddies feel smart when they are, in fact, stupid fucks. Fuck him and his kind. They are not only hack and dumb, but they are dangerous to the culture because of the political and racist views that they push through their so-called comedy.
Yeah.
Fuck those guys. Fuck the Bert Kreischer. Fuck Theo Vaughn.
Andrew Schultz.
Fuck Andrew Schultz. Fuck Tony Hinchcliffe. Fuck Joe Rogan. Fuck all those unfunny fucks in that arena that are now polluting my professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Fuck those people.
They're being shown as baby faces.
Yeah, and
Getting over giving like fucking I wanted fucking Grayson Waller to kick his ass, you know? Like I'm cheering for Grayson Waller in that situation. I'm gonna get him, Grayson.
Yes, I want Tony Hinchcliffe to be assaulted. And Tony Hinchcliffe made like a joke on commentary about Big E, saying something was stiffer than Big E's neck.
Yeah.
And it was like, yo, don't, because New Day were wrestling and he was acting like he was with New Day and he was trying to be a heel thing. But you're making a joke about a man's serious career-ending injury, and who the fuck are you to be making that type of joke? And Big E was very gracious in response, but you could tell he was annoyed and not really happy with Tony Hinchcliffe and his stupid ass. It's not the first time, by the way, that Tony Hinchcliffe has said some really dumb shit in public and got a lot of heat for it. I mean, not as much heat as he did for that joke he made about fucking Puerto Rico because he's a moron.
Has Damian Priest seen him backstage?
Yeah, exactly.
I wonder how he feels.
Exactly. And then he says that thing about Big E on Raw, and you go,
what's the point of that? Who's that for?
Who are you to say this? Well, because he's trying to be edgy but you don't come off edgy. No. You come off like an asshole.
Yeah.
There's a difference. There's a difference between edgy and funny and being an asshole. Because the joke is about how Big E has a broken neck and can't wrestle anymore, and you're laughing at that. Like, the joke isn't like about something else where you're mentioning Big E's broken neck.
No.
The joke is, ha, let's laugh at Big E who can't work anymore. Like, fuck Tony Hinchcliffe. Yeah. What an asshole. The fact that somebody didn't pull him aside backstage and beat the shit out of him shows you what kind of trouble this Hollywood WWE is in, because they have gone so far from what the pro wrestling business is supposed to be. It is a fucking farce, and it isn't actually professional wrestling anymore. WWE has ceased to be a pro wrestling company.
Yeah.
They're not wrestling. If you work for WWE, you're not a wrestler. You're a sports entertainer, and there's no two ways about it. You are not a wrestler. They don't have wrestlers anymore. There's not a single wrestler on the WWE's roster anymore. They are all sports entertainers. They all drink the Kool-Aid of sports entertainment, every single one of them. All of them. They don't wrestle anymore. AEW wrestles, but they got their entertainment and all their other stuff kind of confused. If only there was a company that could do both. Doesn't exist. WWE could, but they're choosing to do this other thing, and it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And buddying up with these people like Tony Hinchcliffe and like Bert Kreischer, it's like gross.
Yeah.
I don't want to see this guy around.
It doesn't seem to be where the audience is at.
No, the audience doesn't like them.
No.
The audience is like us.
Yeah, so the pro
audience
wrestling
sees them
is
and boos them.
surprisingly like a more enlightened audience than popular media would suggest what the pro wrestling audience is.
The WWE is trying to market celebrities to their audience like it's the same audience as the UFC.
Yeah.
Like, those people are going to
UFC, like, I mean, I don't know if you saw the video of Bryce Mitchell getting welcomed by fans at the UFC.
Was he being cheered?
Like he jumped into their arms and they were, like, crowding him with love. It's depressing as hell. Like, that's the UFC fan base.
I mean, this is why I'm being pushed further and further away from the UFC because of bullshit like that.
Yeah.
The guy is pro-Hitler.
Yeah.
Like, outwardly, and he's being embraced by people? How does that happen?
Where are they, UFC?
How does
Are they
that
in
happen?
Vegas?
Miami,
Miami,
Florida. You know,
it could be a weird place.
but still, how does that happen? How does that happen?
It's perniciousness.
It's crazy. This guy openly was saying Hitler's good and this and that, and now fans are cheering for him.
I thought they'd be cheering for him to get his head knocked off.
You don't want to see him get his head broken. You don't want to see physical harm upon this man, or at least see him lose, or at least not cheer for him. Say you don't want to see him physically hurt, maybe just see him lose a close decision. Whatever. But to cheer for this is fucking absurd.
Yeah, because of the... That's the only reason. It's not like...
Yeah, of course,
That's
of course. And this is where we're at, but the WWE fans aren't doing this. The UFC fans are different than the WWE fans. Thankfully, there's still some people that aren't going to cheer for Nazis. It's nice. There's some people that are anti-Nazi still.
Still, yeah.
There are some people that think Nazis bad. But there seems to be a growing amount of people that think Nazis good.
Yeah.
Which is terrifying.
Yeah. It's very strange.
Yeah, it's not good. I don't like it.
It's like people grow up watching the Indiana Jones movies and we're like, man, that Indiana Jones guy, what's he punching on those Nazis for? What's his problem?
Yeah, don't they get the Nazis are always the bad guys? They're the bad guys. Yeah, they're the baddies.
Yeah.
You see it from the uniform. They got the skull.
They got skulls on them.
Yeah, that's a bad guy uniform.
Yeah.
All right. We've gone too far.
Yeah.
We've done it all. Next week is WrestleMania.
Mm.
We will celebrate the shit show that is the TKO group.
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful. Ari Emanuel. Yay.
Yeah.
Heard your brother Rom is thinking about running for president. Bang up.
Yeah, maybe don't do that. I don't think that'll work for him.
He helped cover up a murder by the Chicago PD.
Let's not go there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be back next week. No, shit. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be back tomorrow with AJ for the UFC 314 Watch-Along.
Oh, AJ.
Because the UFC's in Miami. Hopefully I get to see Bryce Mitchell get knocked the fuck out tomorrow.
Hopefully. And hopefully there'll be some booze in the arena.
Yeah.
Jeez, brother. Who's he fighting?
I don't know.
Is he fighting Usman? No.
I feel like AJ was almost defending him too last night. I was like, what are you doing? Why?
Like a free speech thing or something?
I don't know.
I don't.
But he was like,
hey, Dave and Johnny, if I am being honest,
what the hell?
I was the first one in the entire world
we didn't
to say
the
that
name.
I didn't
Logan
say
Paul
it.
is
I didn't
something
say it.
special.
We didn't say.
I didn't
Mark
say
my
it.
words.
Okay, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. When the pay-per-view starts, the show will start. We'll watch along with you, watch all the fights. UFC 314, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopes in the main event. Co-main event, Paddy the Body versus Michael Chandler. So that'll be a fun fight. Tomorrow night, right here on the Ringside Report Network.
Thanks for sticking with us to the end. We would really appreciate it if you could help us spread the word.
You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. Flip those notification switches.
We are an audience-supported network, so consider becoming a recurring supporter at membership.ringsidereport.net. Check out our website at ringsidereport.net. Hope to see you again next time, and have a good night.